Cara chuckled and snorted at Christina and Bill on the dance floor as she came inside. Pfft, those two, she says under her breath, covering her mouth. Michelle, want to have a cigarette with me? She asks, gulping down some of her drink. Michelle glances over, still amused by the scene unfolding in front of them. She chuckles at Cara's comment, then looks back at her. Sure, I could use a smoke break, she nods, standing up from the kitchen counter. Come on, let's go out to the back deck. It's a bit more peaceful out there. They step outside onto the back deck, the night air cool and slightly humid. Michelle pulls out a small pack of cigarettes and a lighter from her pocket, shaking out 2 sticks before offering one to Cara. She lights hers up and takes a long drag, exhaling a slow stream of smoke into the air. Cara takes the offered cigarette and lights it up as well, inhaling deeply before letting out a contented sigh. They stand next to each other in silence for a moment, both staring off into the darkened yard. Cara smiles, leaning against the railing. It was getting a little too hot in there with Christina and Bill being all over each other on the dance floor. She laughs softly. Michelle nods, taking a drag from her own cigarette, the glow illuminating the night air. Yeah, they were definitely letting go of their inhibitions out there. You think they were at a nightclub and not your birthday party. Well, they are swingers, so I guess we can't complain or stop them from doing anything crazy, Cara chuckled. Michelle shakes her head, laughter in her voice. Yeah, they've always been a bit wild, but hey, whatever floats their boat, right? We're just here to have fun and celebrate. She takes another drag of her cigarette, exhaling the smoke. As the evening goes on, the guests stop at the dining room table pretty frequently to drop off a heartfelt message for the 50 Wishes keepsake box. The fabulous feud game comes to an end. Cris, Kelly, Whitney, Rachel, Carla, Carole, Susan, and Hillary all head outside to enjoy themselves on the dance floor and decide to party under the lights. Cris strays away from the alcohol and tries to enjoy herself without smoking or drinking. She is spending time with Liz and Michael despite the tension in their marriage. Christina and Bill take a break from the dance floor. Bill heads inside to have a drink with the rest of the guys. Jorge, Don, Brad, Craig, Tom, and Gionni. Tanya, Nicole, and Maria are outside conversating and enjoying their beverages. Rebecca is still out picking up Marnie and planning on surprising Cara with her presence. As Michelle and Cara are still enjoying their cigarettes, Michelle looks up at her phone for a quick second and notices she has a text from Rebecca. The text reads, Hey, just picked up Marnie. We'll be there in 10, she says. Michelle texts back in seconds with a, Okay, Rebecca, see you soon. Michelle takes a sigh and breathes in a cloud of smoke. So, Cara, are you enjoying your special day so far? She asked. Cara takes a long drag of her cigarette, blowing smoke out into the night air before responding. It's been amazing, honestly. The party, the friends, everyone here, but... She trails off, a sly smirk forming on her lips as she looks over at Michelle. Though I can't help but feel there's still a surprise in store. Maybe a certain someone I wasn't counting on showing up to celebrate with me? Michelle tries her best to act casual, hiding her smile as she brings the cigarette to her lips again. Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. Michelle quickly realizes her slip-up, coughing slightly as she tries to recover. Cara raises an eyebrow, a skeptical smirk on her face. Michelle, don't even try to deny it. You suck at keeping secrets. What's up? Did you invite someone else as a surprise guest or something? Michelle sighs, knowing that she's been caught. Okay, yes, there's a surprise on the way. But I swore I wouldn't say anything to ruin the, surprise part, she grinned sheepishly. Cara's eyes widen with excitement, her smile spreading wide across her face. Well, now you have to tell me who it is. I can't wait any longer. Who did you invite? Michelle laughs at Cara's eagerness. Okay, fine, but only because you look like you're about to explode. You better act surprised when they show up, though. Promise? Cara nods rapidly, bouncing on her heels. Yes, I promise. Now spill. Who is it? Michelle grins, amused by Cara's anticipation. She leans in a bit closer, lowering her voice playfully. All right, but you have to promise not to freak out. And don't tell anyone else yet, okay? Cara nods vigorously, biting her lower lip to suppress a squeal. I promise, I swear. Just tell me already. Michelle takes a dramatic pause for effect, drawing out the suspense before finally relenting. It's Marnie. Rebecca's bringing her. They should be here any minute. Cara's reaction is almost immediate. She gasps, nearly dropping her cigarette as she grabs Michelle's arm in excitement. Marnie? Oh my God! Seriously? She's coming here? Tonight? Michelle chuckles, gently pulling her arm away. Yes, she's coming. But shh! Act surprised when she walks in. Cara nods rapidly, her eyes sparkling with excitement. I will. I can't believe it. This is the best surprise ever. Wait, does Marnie know about the surprise? Michelle shakes her head, a sly grin on her lips. Nope, no clue. Rebecca's been keeping everything top secret, so she's just in the dark as you were a few moments ago. Cara clutches her chest, feigning shock. Then this is going to be epic. Marnie's face when she sees me, she's gonna lose it, she squeals with excitement, bouncing up and down. Michelle takes a hit of her cigarette and furrows her brows, contemplating what to say next. She talked Rebecca into inviting Marnie and made her feel guilty about not letting her go anywhere. She got into an argument with her over the phone, but she didn't want Cara to know about their disagreement. Yeah, Cara, I'm glad you're excited about this. I was worried you wouldn't agree with my decision to invite Marnie. I really wanted her to come, and I wanted Rebecca to understand that she doesn't need to keep her away and only allow her to go out for therapy sessions. She deserves to be able to socialize and hang out with her friends. There's no reason to lock her up at home the way she was locked up in rehab for 6 months, Michelle sighed. Cara listens attentively, sensing the tension in Michelle's voice. She nods in agreement with what she said. You're absolutely right, Michelle. It's good for Marnie to socialize and interact with others. Reclusion can be just as toxic as isolation, right? So I'm glad you fought for her. She deserves to feel normal again. Cara takes a puff of her cigarette before adding, but I take it Rebecca wasn't exactly thrilled about the idea? Michelle ashes her cigarette before responding. No, she was pissed when I brought it up. She keeps putting on this whole psychiatrist act and it's getting tiring. She mentioned a few things I already know. We know Marnie is vulnerable. We know she's having a tough time recognizing her emotions. But that's why she needs to get out more and socialize. She wasn't understanding that keeping her locked up in a room all day is doing nothing but isolating her from the outside world. I know their relationship as sisters is strained, but that doesn't give her the right to mend things like this. She's basically keeping her hospitalized in an environment where she doesn't feel comfortable. She just kept making excuses, saying Marnie's anxiety has been off the charts, that a party isn't a good environment for her, saying that she'll be nervous in a crowd full of people that she already knows. It's just, I don't know. It's pretty overwhelming, and I can tell you more about it in detail, Michelle says, rubbing her face. I feel guilty, Cara. I should have listened to what she was saying. I should have felt empathy for what she is going through with Marnie. But it's hard. I'm thinking it's been long enough and Marnie deserves to see her friends. In fact, she's probably pretty jealous of her sister being able to go out all the time. I know it's frustrating for her to hear my concerns, but I'm still not buying the I know better than you act just because she's a psychiatrist, Michelle says, finishing her statement. Cara listens intently, her expression sympathetic and thoughtful. She nods, understanding Michelle's feelings of guilt and frustration. Hey, don't be too hard on yourself, Michelle. You just want what's best for Marnie, and you think socializing will help her in the long run. That's completely valid. She pauses for a moment, thinking carefully before continuing. But I also get where Rebecca is coming from, too. She has her own trauma with Marnie, and she has that psychology background that makes her feel like she understands her sister's needs better than anyone. Michelle and Cara sit in silence for a moment, and then all of a sudden a car pulls into the driveway. Rebecca parks and turns off the car. A few seconds later, she steps out and walks around the back of the car and opens the passenger side door. Marnie steps out of the car slowly and follows Rebecca to the front porch at Cara's mansion. Michelle and Cara quickly put out their cigarettes and throw them into the grass. They both stand up to greet Marnie with a warm smile. Rebecca guides Marnie up the walkway, her hand gently on her sister's arm to steady her. Marnie seems nervous and anxious, her eyes darting around the front of the spacious mansion as they approach the doorway. Michelle and Cara step forward to meet them, their smiles widening with excitement. Michelle opens her arms for a hug while Cara reaches out to take Marnie's hand. Marnie, you made it, Michelle exclaims, pulling her into a gentle embrace. You look amazing. We've been waiting for you. Marnie returns the hug timidly, her touch soft and a bit stiff. She glances around with wide, uncertain eyes, as if overwhelmed by the number of people and the grandeur of the mansion's exterior. Cara notices her discomfort and gently guides her towards the front door, linking their arms together. Come inside. Everyone's dying to see you. All these people here are people who care about you. Marnie nods slightly, clinging to Michelle as they step inside the mansion. The sound of the party floods her senses, music playing softly in the background, laughter and chatter filling the air, and her shoulders tense up as she takes in the surroundings. Suddenly, Michelle feels Marnie's fingers dig into her arm, holding on tighter in a silent plea for reassurance. She glances down, noticing the slight tremble in her friend's hands, the way her breath hitches slightly. Michelle shoots Rebecca a knowing look, slightly communicating that Marnie's social anxiety is flaring up. Cara, Rebecca, and Michelle all guide Marnie into the heat of the party. Guests are moving back and forth from the buffet table and outside to the dance floor and carrying drinks in their hands. Marnie immediately notices Don standing at the counter with the guys and goes over to greet him. Don turns as he notices Marnie approaching, his eyes lighting up with recognition and surprise. "Marnie!" he exclaims, wrapping her in a warm hug. "Damn, look at you! You look fantastic!" Marnie returns the hug tightly, a small smile forming on her face. Don's jovial nature immediately put her at ease, and she leans into him a bit, seeking the safety of his presence. "That's disgusting," Michelle whispers to Cara. "I'm gonna vomit. I never knew they had a thing for each other." Cara chuckled at Michelle's comment. Maybe Liz was right about this affair rumor all along. Some of the others outside notice Marnie's presence, glancing through the French doors from outside. Christina's jaw drops as she exchanges glances between Liz and Cris, a shocked expression forming on her face. Liz froze, standing still and unable to react. Marnie's here?" Cris chirps up. "I guess so," Liz shrugged. "Fucking Michelle had to convince Rebecca, huh?" she whispers to the two of them. Christina catches her jaw and finally speaks up. "What the hell is going on? She's definitely not ready to see me. I better hide. I know this is going to turn somehow," she says nervously. Michelle overhears their conversation, frowning slightly at their skepticism. She knows her decision to invite Marnie was controversial, but she truly believes she was in the right. Cara, picking up on Michelle's expression, squeezes her arm gently. "Ignore them," she says. "They don't understand the situation like you do. Marnie deserves to be here, and you did what you thought was best. Let's just focus on making her feel welcome and comfortable tonight." Don pulls Marnie in for a brief hug, his arm around her. He gives her a kiss on the cheek and then offers to take her outside to see the others. Marnie reluctantly nods, knowing that she didn't have a choice since she was at Cara's party and all. "Sure," she says quietly. Don leads Marnie outside through the French doors to make a surprising entrance. Christina, Cris, and Liz stray away from the dance floor and walk away from Marnie's presence, heading over to the deck to hide from her. Tanya, Nicole, and Maria all come over to see Marnie, greeting her with wide expressions of happiness on their faces. Tom, Brad, Jorge, Craig, and Gionni turn around to look at Marnie and slowly wave at her. "Hey, Marnie," Gionni says, walking over to greet her as she gripped onto Don's arm. Susan, Hillary, Carla, and Carole all slowly walk over to Marnie, waving to her and keeping their distance. Marnie's eyes dart around the group of people gathering around her, her breath catching in her throat as her anxiety spikes. Too many faces, too many smiles, too many voices. She instinctively tightens up her grip on Don's arm, shoulders tense. Michelle and Cara notice the tension in her body language and step a little bit closer, ready to jump in if needed. But before they could say anything, Gionni walks over and greets her. A flicker of recognition crosses Marnie's face. She swallows hard and manages a small wave in response. Hi, Gionni." Gionni smiles warmly, clearly delighted to see her. He takes a few tentative steps towards her, keeping a small distance out of respect. "It's good to see you, Marnie," he says gently, his voice kind. Marnie nods slightly, her fingers nervously fidgeting with the hem of her sweater. Her eyes flicker away from his gaze, as if the eye contact is too intense. Don keeps his arm around her, supporting her through the emotional storm that's clearly rolling inside her. Gionni senses her discomfort and shifts his stance, making sure to give her some space. He keeps his smile soft and non-threatening, as if approaching a shy animal. "You look nice, by the way," he says, hoping to make her feel comfortable. "I like your sweater." Marnie doesn't respond, but a small flush forms on her cheeks as Gionni gives her a subtle compliment. It's clear she's not used to receiving compliments, and the attention is both appreciative and overwhelming. "Come on, Marnie, why don't we dance? It'll help you get comfortable with the group again. Plus, I wouldn't mind showing you a few moves. I happen to be a good dancer myself," Don says shyly, offering to take Marnie up on a dance. Marnie hesitates, her eyes flickering from Don to the dance floor. The thought of being on display and being the center of attention causes her anxiety to spike, but Don's smile is reassuring, and her desperate need to please surfaces. She nods slightly, her fingers still fidgeting with the hem of her sweater. Okay, Marnie says quietly, her voice barely above a whisper. Don gently takes her hand and leads her towards the makeshift dance floor in the patio area, being mindful of her anxiety. Don guides Marnie to the dance floor, keeping her close. The music is soft and low, and the other guests are swaying gently to the rhythm. The lights are dimmed, with small golden fairy lights strung around the area. Don holds Marnie gently by the waist, giving her space but still providing a steady presence. She is stiff at first, her body tense and her eyes darting around. Don begins to guide her, swaying with the music in a soft, gentle motion, his movements smooth and unhurried. Liz, Christina, and Cris all catch whiff of Don and Marnie on the dance floor. They immediately start whispering and laughing at the thought of the two of them together. It seems like my rumor was right all along. They are definitely having an affair," Liz chuckled, rubbing her chin. "Oh, I wouldn't doubt that for a second. She's really into him," Cris chuckled along with Liz, covering her mouth. Christina observes the two of them on the dance floor. She notices the way that Don is holding her figure and keeping her close to him. She notices the way he's holding her hand tightly and not letting her anxiety get the best of her. "I think I'm going to vomit," Christina finally says, watching them carefully. "I don't think bringing Marnie here was the best idea. She's known to ruin parties, and no offense, Cris, I think she might steal your villain's spotlight." "Yeah, I agree," Liz nods, sipping her drink. "She's not in the right state of mind to be here. I knew this was Michelle's idea all along. She planned this party and wanted to include everyone. I wonder how long it took for her to make Rebecca feel guilty and make her want her sister here, Liz agreed. Meanwhile, Michelle stands nearby with Cara, keeping a watchful eye on Marnie and Don's interaction. She notices the whispering and chuckles between Liz, Christina, and Cris, but doesn't engage. Instead, she watches Marnie's body language, observing the tension in her shoulders and the way she clings to Don. Cara nudges Michelle's arm lightly. You did the right thing, Michelle, she says softly. She needed to get out of the house and socialize with people who care about her. Even if she's uncomfortable right now, it's important that she experiences new things. As they continue to dance, Don spins Marnie once, keeping the moves smooth and easy. She stumbles slightly, her balance off, but he steadies her with a small chuckle. She looks away from him, embarrassed by her clumsiness. But Don makes no comment, only grinning and continuing to guide her through the dance. The other guests nearby take notice and give them a bit more space, not wanting to intrude on the intimate moment. The soft music plays on, enveloping them in its gentle rhythm. I really want to call something out to her right now, Liz says, balancing her drink on the edge of the deck. I'm trying to hold myself back, but it's hard with all this tension. I know how you feel, Cris commented. It's hard not to yell something nasty at them, but you have to kind of keep your composure in these situations. It's something I've learned in therapy. You don't want to come off as looking for trouble or wanting to start a fight for a reaction, Cris says. Liz huffs and crosses her arms. Yeah, I guess you're right. But damn it, it's really pissing me off. I wonder what Marnie thinks she's doing, dancing with Don and being all cute and cozy with him. Christina and Cris nod in agreement, their irritation and jealousy evident. They watch as Don spins Marnie gently, the fairy lights catching her hair and making her look almost angelic. I haven't seen Marnie in a long time, but I have to say, she looks good, Christina complimented, changing the subject. Liz and Cris look at one another before responding. Yeah, she looks good. Liz rolls her eyes at the thought of the grudge Marnie's still holding against Liz. The other guests step away from Don and Marnie, letting them take over the dance floor. They watch from a distance as they see Don twirling Marnie over and over. Cara, Michelle, and Rebecca all stand away from a distance and admire the moment. Michelle smiles fondly at the sight of Marnie dancing, her heart swelling up with a combination of happiness and worry. She notices how at ease Marnie looks with Don, her body gradually losing its stiffness as they continue to dance. Rebecca stands quietly nearby, watching her sister with a mixture of pride and concern. She's happy to see Marnie out and about, but she's also worried about how she'll handle the emotions that come with it. The other guests murmur amongst themselves, admiring the way Don effortlessly moves with Marnie, guiding her through the steps. Marnie watches Don and Marnie from across the dance floor, her breath catching in her throat. Her heart swells up with emotion to see her sister dancing and smiling again, even if it's just for a moment. She looks so beautiful when she smiles, she murmurs softly to herself, a small smile forming on her lips. Michelle, standing beside her, nods in agreement. I've never seen Marnie look so at ease in years. It's a sight to see. They both watch as Don guides Marnie across the floor, spinning her gently as the music continues.